Hello, Wildcat families. My name is Nikki Jenkins, and I work with the Parent Family Association here at the University of Kentucky. We are very excited that you are joining us this afternoon. We have a lot of really important information to share with you. We're going to have an opportunity for you to ask questions and get your questions answered live today. So if you have students who are graduating this May, first of all, congratulations. What a huge accomplishment. We are very excited for them and hope that you have such a fun time celebrating them during the commencement season. Before we get into our Cat Chat Live topic, I wanted to give you a couple of updates and just reminders, things to remind your student about as they are preparing to leave at the end of the semester, whether they are graduating or just leaving for the summer. The first is that if your student will be returning in the summer or fall months, it's time for registration. Priority registration is really important right now. We have a lot of students and a lot of faculty and staff who are working to get students registered for courses. So please remind your student to register for their courses before they leave this semester to make sure that they have the best opportunity of getting the schedule they want. If your student is like a lot of students, they may not want 8 a.m. courses or classes late in the evening. So the earlier they register, the better it will be for them. The second update is that next week on April 19th will be One Day for UK on campus. If you have not heard of our Day of Giving that we call One Day for UK, I encourage you to Google it, see all the very exciting things that we are going to be talking about during that time, and see if you might be interested in participating in all of the efforts on campus during One Day for UK. And then lastly, for students who are moving off of campus at the end of the semester, information about move out is available on the UK campus housing website. Information about move out days and what that process is like. And students are able to sign up for move out appointments as of now. So definitely want to put that on their radar as well. All right, so without further ado, let me go ahead and introduce our guest speakers today from our amazing commencement team. Ladies, why don't you go ahead and give us some information about yourselves?
Hello, my name is Abby Franklin, and I am the chair of the Commencement Committee, and I work in the Office of University Events. So we oversee all the events across campus and manage a lot of those events that happen. But in particular focus for today's presentation, we are going to be discussing commencement. And I've been the commencement chair for 2 semesters now. So this is my second semester, my first May commencement ceremony that we've been planning and working really hard on. And I'll let Maya go ahead and introduce herself as well.
Hi, I'm Maya. I'm the commencement coordinator, so I'm the commencement graduate assistant. I'll be receiving my degree in Master's of Marketing this May as well, so I'll be graduating with your students. It's really exciting. This is also my first year. Abby and I have had so much fun planning everything, and we're so excited to talk with you guys today. So just a quick overview. We're just going to talk about a couple things today. So we'll start with the schedule of ceremonies, move on to cap and gown, registration for commencement, the day of information, and then FAQs.
Jumping right into the schedule of ceremonies. So the commencement will take place on Friday, May 5th and Saturday, May 6th of this semester. Friday we'll have 3 ceremonies, and the list of colleges is there. So your graduates will actually walk with their college. So if they are with multiple colleges, they can choose which college they want to walk with, but there are 3 ceremonies on Friday, May 5th, and then 1 ceremony on Saturday, May 6th. And your student will just walk with their associated colleges. And so the list is here for review. I know that we've pushed this information out a lot, so they should already be planning on attending these ceremonies that are listed out here. But again, Friday, May 5th and Saturday, May 6th.
So now that your student knows what ceremony they'll be joining, the second most question we get asked all the time is, where do we get your cap and gown? So online, you can order through our website, which is commencement.uky.edu, which we will have links for you guys as well. There's a tab called Cap and Gown, and it's broken down into undergraduate, master's, and doctoral regalia. So the last day to order online is this upcoming Friday, April 14th. And those orders will be shipped to the graduate address. So whichever address they put in for their shipping address is where they'll be delivered. You can also purchase in person upstairs at the UK bookstore. So the last day of purchase is just before the ceremony, so Thursday, May 4th. And if you're a doctoral student that is looking to rent regalia, that will have to be rented in person, also through the UK bookstore.
Registration for participation. Oh, Nikki, do you have a question?
I do. We have our first question from a parent.
Perfect.
She is asking if the College of Arts and Sciences or Health Sciences will go first. I'm wondering if you might flip back to that screen.
Absolutely. So the order of how they will walk, we will determine that based on registration numbers. So that will be determined at a meeting next week. So we don't have that order of which colleges are walking in which order just yet, but that will be reflected in materials that we can put out after that meeting next week to determine the official order of which colleges walk which, and the map too of which colleges are going to be seated where. We'll discuss that at that meeting next week and have those decisions made closer to the ceremony when we have those final registration numbers.
I'm so sorry. Of course, we are having technical difficulties on campus today. Give me 1 sec to pull this back up. I apologize.
Did you say how you're going to let students know about when they're walking? Will you just clarify with families about that?
Sure. We will have that information on the commencement website. The students will also receive communication before the ceremony on like where to go and when to go, like all of that, like packet of information leading up to the ceremonies. We'll start distributing that, communicating that with students in the next couple of weeks as well.
Great, thank you so much. Families, if you have other questions while they're bringing up their presentation again, if you have other questions that you have in the back of your mind about commencement, feel free to put those in the chat, and I'm sure our guests will be happy to answer anything that they can. And if they don't know the answer, I'm sure that they can help us find the answer for you.
Okay. Registration for commencement is still open. So if your student hasn't participated, hasn't registered to participate in the ceremonies, they can still do so. And the deadline for that is April 16th. Of course, we want to just get the accurate number of who is participating and how many students to expect per ceremony. A lot of those logistics are dependent on, the total attendance. So the registration deadline to do that is April 16th. This is different than your student who had applied for their degree. So the application process is different than the registration to participate in the ceremony. So just to clarify there that they have already applied for their degree. Now they need to register to participate in the ceremony. So that registration deadline is April 16th. The registration form was emailed. It's also available on the commencement website. So if they haven't done so yet, I would direct them to that website to be able to go through the registration form. On that registration form, it's going to ask, simple questions and have them verify contact information as well as their name, their degree, and all of that information. But also it'll ask a couple questions, like they can record how to pronounce their name if they have a name that's particularly difficult to pronounce. They can also request for accommodations as far as, seating assignments or wheelchair accessible seating, things like that. And then it'll also ask if your student is a doctoral student, it'll ask who would be following them on stage to actually present their hood and do their hooding as a faculty member. So it'll ask who those that representative would be. The form is pretty simple, but I would encourage that if your student hasn't already completed this, to direct them there in order to register to participate. Another question. Go ahead, Nikki.
That was perfect timing because the question was about shuttle service. So
We will get there.
take that. Yep.
Perfect. So that is a great segue into the slide. So for day of information, we'll start with parking and shuttle service. For parking, graduates and guests can park in the High Street lot directly across from Rupp Arena. You see that map on the presentation there. It's also on our website that will be blocked off just for commencement. There is accessible parking within that lot, and the road in between the lot and Rupp Arena will be closed off, and there will be security and police officers there to help guide traffic into the arena. If you want to avoid downtown, we will be running shuttles continuously from 8 a.m. to 9:30 on Friday, 9:30 p.m. on Friday, and then 8 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. on Saturday. So that is from Administrative Drive, which is by Parking Structure 5. So the Cornerstone Garage, which you can see below. The Cornerstone parking structure will also be available for people who want to park there and then shuttle onto up to Rupp Arena.
Both of these parking options will be free for attendees. So the Cornerstone will be free to park there. You'll want to take the pedestrian bridge across the third level of that parking garage, and right where that pedestrian bridge, you exit from it, the shuttle stop will be right there, and it'll just loop between Rupp Arena and that Administration Drive pickup location throughout those time ranges. I will mention too that for entry, the doors will open 1 hour prior to ceremony time to the arena. So you can enter as early as 1 hour before each ceremony time.
I have a quick question about registration. The question came up, do parents and family members have to register for commencement?
It's a great question. No, they do not have to register to attend. If the student is bringing guests, there's not, we're not issuing tickets for this ceremony. There's no limit to the amount of family members that you can actually bring to attend, families and guests. So seating, like I said, the doors will open in 1 hour before the ceremony start time. Seating will be just general admission, first come, first serve as far as seating assignments go.
Great. And then one more question from another parent is about regalia. So let's say someone has already purchased their cap and gown long ago, and they still have some pieces that they need to get. Where can they get them? Can they buy them separately? What is that process like?
Depending on the piece, the bookstore should have individual hoods, stoles, etc. The one that I'm not 1,000,000% sure of is tassels. So if they do need a tassel, that is something I will have to double check on. But yes, the bookstore should have the individual UK stoles and other accessories that are listed on the website. The bookstore should have those in inventory.
Great. And then one more question as they came in, and then I will let you move on. Can guests bring in water bottles or water to the ceremony in Rupp Arena?
Abby.
I believe, yes, you can bring a water bottle.
I think typically it has to be an unopened water bottle, right? If you're going to bring things like that.
Yes, we have Rupp's Rupp's entry rules and regulations linked on our website as well. That is on the homepage of our website. So they're updated through Rupp Arena. That is linked on our website.
Okay, so we have these entrances. Maya's provided pictures of where you're going to be actually entering to the arena. Graduates will actually enter through the West High Street entrance. There will be a specific entrance for the graduates in order to direct them down to do the check-in process there. It will be marked for the graduate entrance. Guests can enter at the West High Street entrance through the pedestrian bridge that's attached to the Hyatt or from Main Street. So there will be several different options of getting guests in to Rupp Arena, and those entrances will be marked and labeled as well. But you can come from either the High Street direction or from the Main Street direction and be directed up towards that main entrance, where there'll be a small security process and getting in into the arena.
Will there be an Uber or Lyft drop-off location near Rupp Arena? Do we know?
You can definitely Lyft or Uber to the arena, and the drop-off location will just be the designated one that's through Lyft or Uber. And so you can, there's not like a designated area, but they can just drop where, if you plug in the address of Rupp Arena, where they would drop you there.
On that, a good drop-off location might be Lex Live, which is just about a block down from Rupp Arena. That might be a good location for guests to put into their Uber. So moving on to the actual ceremony, graduates will be seated with their college. We'll have faculty marshals from each college to help seat graduates. There will be someone there every step of the way to make sure that they get to the right spot. Each ceremony will be no longer than 2.5 hours. We will have strobe lighting that will be used during the UK fight song. If you want some more information on when that might be in the ceremony, please feel free to reach out to commencementuky.edu. We're happy to provide that. In regards to accessible seating, it is on a first come first served basis. We are unable to reserve accessible seats, but there are seats across the arena. We will have staff members there to help direct them to where they need to go. We will also have wheelchairs at guest entrances to help move guests to their seats. If you or a family member require a wheelchair to get to your seat, we'll have those available. You cannot remain in the wheelchair during the ceremony due to the limited amount that we have, but we will also have staff there to help with that process as well, and signage to make sure that you're bringing your guests to where they need to be. Once everyone's situated, after graduates cross the stage, they will not return to their seats. They will cross stage, they'll take a couple pictures, and then you as a family, as guests, are free to leave the ceremony from there.
So some more day of information. There is a grad gathering that you are all invited to, hosted by the UK Alumni Association. This will take place in the in Club C, which is on the first level of Rupp Arena. There will be directional signage in order to find your way to Club C. This is a great opportunity to, a great location to meet up with your graduate after they walk across stage. They will be able to walk that first level around to the grad gathering. And then if you wanted to make your way down there to meet up with your graduate, there's going to be a lot of like photo opportunities, some light refreshments. The colleges will have some tables there to, give some swag items and things like that to talk about, the college information. And this would be a good opportunity to like meet up with your graduate afterwards. And we'll have signage to get you to that club level if you'd like to go to the grad gathering after the ceremony.
So just a couple FAQs that we want to make sure you all are aware of. So as Abby said earlier, no, we are not requiring tickets. Seating will be general admission, so first come, first served. For the bag policy, this is directly from Rupp Arena, so you may only have a clear bag with the dimensions on the screen, so 12 by 12 by 6, or one small clutch purse without a handle or a strap, so no larger than 9 by 5. This is also all on Rupp Arena's website, which is linked on our homepage as well. We will have a live stream for the ceremony, so that link will be posted on the homepage of commencement.uky.edu, which is our website, by Friday morning, and it will be the same link for all 4 ceremonies. As we know, it rains every single day in Lexington, so yes, you can bring an umbrella into Rupp Arena. That is not a problem. For graduates, like I said, you will not return to your seat, so if you do bring an umbrella onto the floor, you either need to tuck it under your robe or you will cross the stage with your umbrella. So just keep that in mind. So for the order that graduates walk in, so like I said, graduates will be seated and walk across the stage with their respective college. And the order of that is doctoral students, graduate students, and then undergraduate students. And then lastly, for accommodations, we will have closed captions on the Jumbotrons and all the screens at Rep Arena. We'll have an ASL interpreter. And then also, like I said, accommodated seating and parking, which both are first come, first serve. So if anyone has any additional questions, of course, we are here right now. Our email is commencement@uky.edu. Our website is commencement.uky.edu. And then my phone number is also listed on the screen, 859-218-6699.
Right, we have a couple of questions that have come in. One is a little more specifically about the graduate gathering that the alumni is doing. Can you give more specific directions on how to get to that location in Rep Arena, or maybe what signs to look for?
Sure, absolutely. So the main entrance for families will be on the second level, and like the main entrance where you come in. If you go back out that way and to the first level, it's on the Main Street side of that first level of Rep Arena. For graduates, since they're already going to be on that level, they will cross stage, and then they will just walk on, like we'll have signage literally step for step to get them around to that grad gathering. They will come in a different entrance than the family and guests would, but for guests, that where you come in and where you go out is the same location, and just going down to that first level on the Main Street side of the convention center. Does that help?
I think that helps. Thank you.
Okay.
And then there's a question about grad pictures. Can they purchase pictures of their students walking across stage, and how and when will they do that?
Absolutely. So we do have a photographer that will capture pictures as they cross stage with their diploma. And then after they exit stage, we'll go through another photo line to get that formal, the formal photo that's staged outside of the arena just as they exit. So they'll stay in that same order, go out and get a second picture. Those pictures, once they are available, the student will receive an email to their email address that say they're available for purchase. Those will be available a couple weeks after the ceremony, I believe is when we get the link usually, and they will be available to purchase.
Great. And then would you remind families who maybe have just joined, if they have a student who has a hard name to pronounce, how can they ensure that their name is pronounced correctly during the ceremony?
That's a great question. So during the registration process, there is an option for the student to record their name. And if, as you say it, and then that is, there's a phonetic pronunciation section where they can enter like the phonetic pronunciation. So you have the option to record or just enter the phonetic pronunciation. In addition to that, if you wanted to ensure that the name is said correctly, you can, before you walk across stage, there's somebody taking the card and they could, just emphasize how you say your name. And if somebody standing there may ask to in that moment before the name is read by the name readers that are on stage, who are very professional and able to kind of field some of those names very well. So.
Great.
Yep. And one more thing with registration, if you do choose to send in a recording of your name, that is not what's read at commencement. It will be transcribed through our registration system to have that phonetic spelling printed on your graduate card, which is what what the graduates use to have their name show up on the board. So please encourage them to do it. It's not what's read at commencement.
Earlier, you gave a tip about umbrellas and recognizing that anything that the students bring with them to their seats, they will have to carry with them as they go on stage. So obviously, we probably want them to carry as little as possible when they're up there. But what are some tips you have in how families might reunite with their students after they have exited the ceremony?
Yeah, that's a great question. Definitely grad gathering. We found in December, December was the first time that Club C was even open. I think we were one of the first maybe 10 events that were held in that space. And it's just a great unification point for families. So as once their student crosses the stage, they can leave and enter into the concourse and find the signage to get down into grad gathering, into Club C. I highly recommend that. I think it's the perfect place for everyone to meet. The space is humongous. When we went to see it for the first time, all of us kind of just stood there and stared. It was so great. Alumni puts a great job on for it as well. So definitely recommend that. If not, definitely determine where you're going to meet beforehand. Service sometimes can be a little spotty and rough. So if you parked in that High Street lot, let's say, okay, we're going to meet outside the High Street entrance right where you lined up. So where the staircases are. Or if you want to meet on Main Street, definitely just predetermined before. But if I had to make a recommendation, definitely meet up at grad gathering.
Just go ahead and add to that when the student arrives to do their check-in process, they are seated right as they finish that check-in process. And so you do get a little bit of time if you're, there early to identify where your student's sitting. There's going to be flags on the floor that will identify which college, where each college is sitting. And so once the student finishes that check-in process, they actually go and a faculty marshal helps them find their seat. And so you have a little bit of opportunity for them to see where you're sitting and for you to see where they're sitting and kind of make that eye contact and, maybe hand off any materials that they don't need to cross stage. But I would make sure that they've planned in advance to have as little as possible in their hand before they cross stage. But that little bit of time before you can actually find your student and then, make sure that you talk through, maybe you're going to meet at a certain section of Rep Arena or something like that to talk through a plan for afterwards.
Great. And how my parents and families confirm that their student has registered for commencement?
If a student wants to reach out and see if they've registered, they can email commencement@uky.edu. And I'm able to double check and make sure that they've registered.
Great. Excellent. We have a few more minutes, so if families have some additional questions, these have been great questions, and we'd love to answer anything that you have. Make sure that you have sort of a seamless process, right? Because we want this to be fun and enjoyable and a good time for you and not stressful, right? One question that comes up pretty often is about commencement programs. So can you talk a little bit about, how families might get commencement programs if they're available, what that process is like, and some tips on how to use those?
Yeah, so for our commencement programs, we will have a couple options available. So we will post the electronic version of the program on our website. As soon as it's ready, it'll be on the homepage for you to click here and go through during the ceremony to find the agenda, the speakers, the honorary degrees, any kind of relevant information, as well as your student's name in that book electronically. That QR code will be available in the arenas for you to scan, as well as just going to the commencement.uky.edu to find that linked on the homepage day of. For physical programs, your student will actually receive, when they walk across stage, after they get their picture taken, they'll pick up 2 hardcover or hard copy programs. And those will be, the commemorative item that they can distribute to family members. If you're interested in receiving more programs or something, if you have additional requests for those, you can email us at commencement@uky.edu and get those requests fulfilled for, making sure that your family members receive that copy of the program.
Great. And so that link will be available on the day of, or will it be available any earlier than that?
Usually we posted the day of, if not the night before. Yeah.
Gotcha. So one tip that I have is, when you get up in the morning, you're getting ready to go to commencement, maybe look at that program at home before you get to Rep Arena, because it might take a little longer to download it to your phone or to open it in your phone when you're in a large arena with a lot of people, but it will be there. And of course, we'll have the QR codes and all of those things. So very exciting, at your fingertips. That'll be great. All right. Any last minute questions before we let these ladies go back to their fun day. Let's see. I think that I have it. I think I've hit all of them. If for some reason that we did not get to your question, I am so sorry. Feel free to let us know. You can either email commencement@uky.edu, or you can email the Parent Family Association at parents@uky.edu, and we'd be happy to get you the answer that you're looking for and talk you through things. A couple of other tips. If you haven't made your lunch or breakfast or dinner reservations for commencement, it's time to do that and make sure that you can get in to eat somewhere. That's really helpful. And of course, any hotel reservations and whatnot probably needs to happen too if that hasn't happened yet. Just want to make sure that you have everything planned and you're ready and have a good time at commencement. I've also seen students coming out. It's beautiful here right now in Lexington, and students are taking their graduation photos all over campus. So if your student hasn't started doing that, now's a good time to do that, to get a couple of friends together and maybe take those commencement photos. You're also welcome to do that on campus during the commencement weekend as well. So know that that's available to you as well. One last minute question. Will the UK bookstore be there during commencement? Will they be selling any UK items at Rep Arena?
So the bookstore themselves won't be there. We will have vendors to provide like commemorative UK class of 2023 memorabilia, so flowers, t-shirts, teddy bears, etc. But the bookstore themselves won't be there. That's a great question.
The bookstore on campus will be open that day though, so I recommend like going through and picking out some items in the bookstore in the Gatton Student Center, which is on Avenue of Champions on campus.
If families wanted to bring in their own flowers to Rep Arena, would they be able to do that?
Yes.
Great. All right, these were great questions, families. Thank you so much for participating. And thank you to Abby and Maya for giving us all this great information. Any last words from the commencement team before we sign off?
Yeah, just congratulations to all graduates. It's a very exciting time and it's just a couple weeks away. So it's just a very exciting time of year. And we're really excited that it's going to be such a great event again, and that we have, the number of graduates keeps growing and growing, and that's very exciting to see. So congratulations to all of those graduates that are finally getting the degree.
Yeah, Abby couldn't have said it better. We're just so excited. It's a year-long, event for us. And personally, as a graduate myself, like I could not be more excited. So just remember that we are all, if you have any questions, we're here for anything. And we are just so excited for your students, and it'll be great. It'll be a great weekend.
It will be a great weekend. It's very fun to see students, walking across that stage. They've worked so hard to get where they are. Families are crying and hugging. It's just beautiful. It's a beautiful sight. So it'll be a really fun time. And we hope that that this has been helpful to you. And if you have any additional questions, feel free to email commencement@uky.edu or give them a call, and I'm sure they'd be happy to answer your questions. We will be recording this. We recorded this video and we'll be posting it to Facebook and YouTube here very soon. But I hope, again, if you have questions, let us know. Thank y'all so much. Have a great afternoon and go Cats.